Hello, and welcome to another episode of Therapy, etc. I have another guest today that will be sharing about her experiences abroad. So I can't wait to get her in here and start the conversation. So let me just invite her. There she is. Hi,
Hello.
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to say good morning because for me it's like 11 a.m., but you are in a different part of the country.
Yes, so it's actually good evening for me.
Oh, well, thank you for being here and stretching your day out a little bit for me and for us who's
No
listening and
problem.
watching. Well, Miss Jackie, I'll let you introduce yourself and share a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right, sounds good. So I'm Dr. Jacqueline Guevara. I am a licensed clinical social worker both in Virginia and DC. However, I'm currently residing in Germany. Um, I am the proud daughter of immigrant parents. My father's from El Salvador and my mom's from Guatemala. Like I said, born and raised in DC. Got my master's in social work from the University of Pittsburgh, my doctorate in social work from University of Southern California. Fight on, fight on.
Oh, you're a Trojan too.
Sure, I'm a Trojan. So, there's always the love hate between us and UCLA, but I'm all about the love, so it's all good. Um, So I've been in the social work field for 12 years. Like even saying that, I'm like, is that for real? Like I have to
Are we
like
aging
count.
ourselves?
No, I graduated last year.
There you go, keeping it young.
So within those 12 years, I feel like I've done a little bit of everything. I've mostly been in the realm of child welfare, juvenile justice, school social work, and community mental health. My biggest passion, honestly, is just healing.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
especially within Latinx and BIPOC communities.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's just a little bit about me.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here again,
Yeah.
for joining me. So you mentioned that you went to USC. So were you out here in LA or were you doing it remotely? How did that work out? I'm
So
curious.
it was hybrid. So I did a lot of, our classes were live, but we also had, classes that were pre-recorded and that we had to attend. And then the first year, I had to do like a mock defense. So I had to fly out to USC. So that was a pretty awesome experience. And
Wow.
then second year, when I actually had to defend my capstone, that was in DC.
I see.
There's actually a satellite off. I didn't know this, but there was a satellite office in DC.
Mm,
So that's where I got to defend.
wow, amazing. So should we call you Dr. Jacqueline? What do you want to be referred to as?
Dr. Guevara is fine. Dr. Jacqueline.
Okay. Well, there's not a lot of Latinas that even have a doctorate. Like, do you know what that stat is?
So last time I read statistics on how many Latinas have doctorates, I want to say it was around less than 2%.
Wow.
Yeah,
Bravo, girl. Yes, you're killing it, doing it.
we need more. We need more.
You know what? And so earlier when I was getting ready, I was like thinking about you and about this conversation. And I was like, would I want to get like a PhD or a PsyD? Like, how could that potentially enhance my career? But honestly, thinking about going back to school and the debt and the time, more the debt and the debt, I am just like, I don't know how to do that.
Well, funny story, which is why, so I'm also an adjunct professor, and sometimes I have to remind myself, okay, your students' stories are different, Jackie, because I was actually pregnant during my doctorate program. So I do not recommend it, but I was pregnant and I had somewhat of a difficult pregnancy. So that was a very interesting journey. And then I want to say it was the semester before I was to defend, I gave birth. and I took a week off and jumped right back in.
A week off?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
A
Wow.
little cray cray, but
Yeah,
I
like
was
to say the
determined to get it
least.
done.
So how old is your baby now?
He just turned 3 actually. Or should I say he's a three-nager, very opinionated, very energetic, just all over the
Really?
place, but that's my dude, that's my little dude.
So you mentioned that you're out in Germany. How did that even happen?
So, we are actually a military affiliated family. So, my husband works for the Army. And this is an assignment that he is working. It's a 3-year assignment with the option to extend. So, we were trying to come back home actually because we're wrapping up our 3rd year. But with COVID and just like, things changing, it's been a little difficult to try to get back. So it's looking like we may be here for another year. Not completely sure.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's been interesting.
Well, I mean, as you're saying that, like so many different questions are coming up for me. So being a, Latina yourself in Germany, I'm just thinking about language, just even like, you know, I'm assuming, I don't know, you tell me, you probably look very different, so you stand out. Um, how has that experience been for you? Like the cultural experience.
Yep. We got like 3 hours, right? No, just kidding. Uh,
We might
so
need them.
So it's been a very interesting journey. I think when we first got here, it's exciting, right? Like, oh, you get to live in Europe, you get to travel, we're so close to Spain and France and Switzerland. Like literally Switzerland is 45 minutes away from where we live.
Girl, go get
Um,
some chocolate.
So, it's cool because you get to explore. The language, however, I will say that a huge population of Germany does speak English. It's
Okay.
actually taught within like the elementary, middle school, and high school and college. So you will find a lot of Germans that speak English, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to speak English.
Mhm.
So culturally, Germans are very proud. They're very like, we're German and, we, if you're here, you need to learn to speak our language kind of thing.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I've learned some phrases here and there to get me by. Um, but what's funny is even when I try to speak German, which is so choppy and just horrible, so I always apologize beforehand and I'm like, sprechen Sie English?
Wait, what does that mean?
So, do you speak English?
Oh.
And then I'll tell them, I'll be like,
And you'll give them a little like face because I see you like,
yeah. Like I smile and, I apologize, which in German it's Entschuldigung. And they look at me and sometimes they appreciate that I'm actually trying. And it's like, oh,
Mhm.
bless her heart. And then they'll switch and start talking to me in English.
They'll give you a break.
Yeah. So I've been able to get by with the, phrases, but as far as like having conversations and stuff, not really.
Oh my
I have been lucky that I've used some of my Spanish here. Like there's not a lot of Spanish speakers, unless they're within the military, like me coming from the US, first or second generation Latinas, or you actually will have Spaniards that live in Germany and work in Germany.
Oh, I
So
see.
actually, it was a funny story because I went to the gasoline station, right? And so here, the one thing I miss about the States, you can pay at the pump, right?
Yeah. You don't have to talk to
So
anybody.
you don't have to talk to anyone in and out. So
Yeah.
in Germany, they don't have that. There's no credit card, there's no nothing. You actually have to go inside the gasoline station to pay. So
Kind of inconvenient, but also like first world.
yeah,
You have to get out of the car and walk a little bit longer.
I know, right? I'm like, we're so privileged. Um, so I remember I was with my son and I was like, okay, let's go inside and we're gonna go pay. And so like I said my pump number. So I do know the numbers in German. So I think I was like, oh, zwei bitte, which is two, please. And then my son grabbed something and I said something to him in Spanish. And the lady at the register was like, oh, ¿usted habla español? And I was like, oh my gosh, you're speaking Spanish. So it was so like, I don't know. It's something about when I hear Spanish, like my heart
Yeah.
just lights up. And I was like, oh my God, mi gente, mi lengua. Like I
Yeah,
was
we're all over.
so she was like, oh, it was a quick conversation, but it was just really cool to like hear Spanish and talk to someone in Spanish.
Mhm, mhm,
And Germans actually really like Spanish culture. Like from what I've learned, a lot of them vacation in like Mallorca and Andalusia. They have
mhm.
summer homes in Spain. So there is that bit of a connection. But
Mhm.
have I been speaking it regularly here? No.
Wow, wow. As you were sharing that story about the lady that was at the gas pump, it reminded me about a time that I was in Paris a few years back, and we were, I don't know why, but we were like, let's go to let's try to find like a Mexican restaurant or like a like Spanish food somewhere in Paris, and we actually found one that was so good. And the people that were there, and they were working, and we introduced ourselves, and we're talking to them. They've been in Paris for like 20 years, migrated from Mexico to Paris. Like I feel like that's not very common. Like, at least like in like what I notice is that normally like people will migrate to the United States,
Right.
any various parts of the U.S. But I don't normally hear that people migrate to another completely different country.
Right.
Um, so that was kind of cool to hear that they've been in Paris for over 20 years. That yeah, like they have families there, and it's like a
Mhm.
like just any other person.
Right,
So
right.
that's pretty cool to kind of even hear that is in other parts of the world as well, like in Germany.
Yeah, and actually there's been 2 other incidences. I remember we were at the Frankfurt airport and we could not find our terminal, and one of the custodians, my husband tried to talk to him in German. That did not go well. And then I guess I don't know how they determined that he spoke Spanish, but they spoke Spanish. And my husband, who's black and German, was like, un momento, mi esposa habla español. Un momento, un momento. And so I like came over and then he helped us figure out where our terminal was. And I was like, this is hilarious. Who knew I'd be using,
You're
Spanish to kind of help me around in
Spanish.
an airport, a German airport.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So, have you, how has it been like even meeting people? And because you've been there for almost 3 years now, so like making friends or just, experiences outside of work, like do you have, like, what do you do? What do you do for fun?
Well, if we would have been doing this interview last year, I could have given you so much more information.
Oh yeah,
But with
let's pretend we're
COVID,
in, we're in 2019. Backtrack.
before everything shut down. Um,
Uh-huh.
So, a lot has just been through the military community here. Facebook groups. We actually have well, not I, but someone started a Latinas in Stuttgart, which is the city where we live.
Oh
So
wow.
I met a lot of, same as me. They're military affiliated. They're here, with their families.
Mhm.
Some of them are working, or some of them are actually active duty themselves. So I've managed to build some friendships there. And one of my really good friends, actually, she used to work with my husband, and now she works in a different, she's still here in Germany, but she works in a different department. So that's kind of how I've just been, meeting people. And for a long time, we were, doing mini girl trips and going out to eat and coffee. And so it was really nice. And then
Mhm.
unfortunately, COVID happened, and that just
Mhm.
changed everything.
Changed everything for everybody all over.
Yeah.
How was COVID out there in Germany?
Oof. So not gonna lie, it's pretty rough. Um, Germany is so we're actually in a strict lockdown right now. We've been in lockdown since November,
Oh,
but
wow.
as of this week, we now have a curfew again. And all non-essential stores have closed. There's some stores that have been able to remain, but it's called click and collect. Like you have to go online, make an appointment, or call and make an appointment so you can pick stuff up. But it's mostly stores, kind of like Home Depot, or like not
Your
essential but sort of essential.
yeah.
And it's just been, yeah, it's been pretty crazy. Germans are very strict when it comes to following rules and just for as an example, like if you're caught without a mask, so here we have to wear we have to wear medical masks, no exceptions. So we can't wear cloth
Really?
masks. If you are
Oh,
caught with
wow.
a cloth mask, it's a between 250 to 500 euro fine.
Wow. No te lo ponen fácil.
No. If you're found, so the other rule in lockdown that we have is you can only meet with like one other person from one other household. And if you're found in violation of that, it's a 25,000 euro fine.
Oh, wow.
So
And are
wrong side.
they like stay home, right?
Yeah, they're not playing.
Wow. So are they enforcing this even like are you like on a military base or something like that? Or you out
No,
like
we
you
actually
within
live
the community?
outside of cities. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was curious to know if they would regulate this even within the military base.
So it's funny because the military base it's like a whole nother world. And I mean, they still follow German regulations and all that. However, within the military community, they've managed to keep numbers down, like as far as infection rates and all that. So we're allowed to wear cloth masks on base, but that's about
Oh,
it.
wow.
But we can't wear it off base. It's weird how it works. So the military follows German rule and laws and stuff, but because some stuff works for us just within the military community, yeah. So
That is so interesting. So
yeah.
when you say like the medical mask, are we talking like the N95? Like, because I have some that kind of like look like, like they're just like this the disposable ones. I wear them for a couple hours and throw it away.
Yeah.
So which ones are we? Are we talking about like the N95 type
Yep.
masks?
N95s or the surgicals. And then it's up to the discretion of the business if they are willing to accept both or just one. So the physical therapist I was actually going to a couple months ago, they only want the N95s, like no surgical blue masks. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And I mean, like I'm not complaining, right? But like they're so tight on your head and they like squish up your face. It's like not even comfortable. Like I don't know how the doctors do it. Like
I
my praise
know.
to them for wearing
Seriously.
these all the time.
Yep.
So is there? Because I know out here in the states, like there was like a whole thing where you couldn't even find a 95. Can you find them out there?
You can. I will say that's a difference that I've noticed. They're pretty, I mean, they're not overflowing, but they're also not scarce. So I can walk into the grocery store, they have bins of them. I can walk into the DM, which is like, it's kind of like a Walgreens or CVS sort of. Can
Mhm,
get them from there.
mhm.
I went to trying to think. I went to like an auto shop and they actually had some.
Oh, so they're
So
okay. They're everywhere.
yeah, so you can get them.
Uh-huh.
It's just a matter of, they're some are pricey, some not so much. It just depends where you're getting them from, but they're not scarce. So that's been good.
Yeah, that is really good. So do you know how long the lockdown is going to be going on for, or the curfew?
Forever.
I'm okay. I'm sorry.
So they actually just met last week, which is why the strict lockdown. So before we were in a, they call it a light lockdown because there was still some stuff open, but everything was like appointments, like museums and zoos and stuff like that. But now none of that is open, and that started this week, and the curfew started this week. So they're saying they're going to reevaluate come mid-May,
Mhm.
but that's what they've been doing since November. They reevaluate every month. And every month it's okay, let's do it for another month. Let's do it for another month.
Oh,
This is actually
wow.
the first time though that they've actually talked about like a strict lockdown. Like there's let me just tell you politically, there not that I follow everything German, but from my understanding and what I've read right now, politically it's a hot mess. There's a lot of fighting between like the different I forget what they call them. Maybe I don't know if they're presidents or if they're like because you know that we have there's the chancellor and then there's everyone underneath her. So there's a lot of just like we should do a hard lockdown. No, we shouldn't. Oh, well, we should exclude this. Well, no, we shouldn't. We should have a curfew. No, we shouldn't. So it's just
Wow.
a
And the
lot of that.
community is just going with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
and
So,
it's funny 'cause I was actually telling someone, the other day, so Germans are known for their super, like, law-abiding citizens. There's a lot of the honor system that happens here, which I'm, like, in awe of every single day,
like,
and
they don't, like, what do you mean honor system? How
so
so?
as I'll give you an example. So where we live, the village where we live, there's, like, this huge open field where a lot of the farmers will come and set up their produce and just leave a cash box, and you come
Oh.
pick your item, drop your money, and leave.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I don't know how that would fly out here. I feel like people would be like, I'm gonna take like 2 extra grapes.
Yep, yep.
You know what? I'm a little hungry. Let me just get this orange. I'll
It
pay
it
you next time.
yep, it's amazing to see it, and, I mean, everyone knows that that's, like, the unwritten rule here. It's a lot of people it's on the honor system. When I first saw that, I mean, being from DC and, like, where I grew up in DC, I was like, "That stand would have lasted 10 minutes," and that's about it.
Oh my goodness. Wait, what part of DC are you from?
So, I grew up between DuPont Circle and Adams Morgan,
Mhm, mhm.
so it's
I've only
like
been to DC a couple of times, but I think I know where that's at. I feel like I've been out in my younger days around those areas.
so for anyone else that may know, it's where I used to live. I was very close to Columbia Road, which has gone through significant gentrification the last couple of years. But it was a very well-known kind of little Latino neighborhood. It still
Mhm.
sort of is, but yeah, a lot
Wow.
has changed since I've been there.
What are some major differences? I know you mentioned the gentrification.
Just very, a lot of condos, a lot of like up and coming, really trendy restaurants, like,
Mm,
vegan trends and, just stuff like that.
mhm.
And I'm trying to think what else. And then just like little shops and stuff that weren't there before. So it's very interesting to see the difference. I mean, it's been a minute since I've been there, but last time I was there, I did notice that because I was like, whoa, this is not where I grew up.
Interesting. So is your family still there?
So my family, well, sort of like, so I have family in all DMV. Like, I have some
Mhm,
family in DC, some family in Maryland, and some family in Virginia,
mhm. Okay. So when you go back home, where's home for you?
Virginia.
Ah, got it, got it. So I'm curious, like going back to this honor system and in Germany, because I'm still like in awe about that.
You and me both.
I know, because I'm just thinking about that. Yeah, like in LA, like that would not fly. I mean, even I know that sometimes out here I've seen those little like libraries where the outdoor libraries where there's somebody will make like a little cabinet on the street, and then you can
Yeah,
put books, and then you can borrow it and replace. That thing is empty.
yeah,
It's been empty. Like like I'm gonna take it and never return it.
right.
So that is such a like a difference, I'm assuming that you notice out there, right?
Yes, yes.
What are some other big things in Germany versus in the States, like in the area that you grew up in, that are so different?
So, oh man, a lot. I will definitely say the biggest thing I think I appreciate about being here in Germany is there's such an amazing work-life balance. Like in the States, it's all about, working yourself to the bone, 40 plus hours a week, like working to, you know, whatever, right? And
Mhm.
so someone was telling me the other day, you have to look at it this way, like in Germany, people work to live, not live to work.
Mhm. What a concept that makes such a difference.
I mean, it's crazy because again, a lot before, COVID, but like they just celebrate family so much here. There's holidays, like I feel like there's a holiday like every other week. Germans are
Where everything's
usually
closed.
and you just see families out and about, and there's always like some sort of event, like something for people to just get together. In spring, it's usually what's called Frühlingsfest, which is like their spring kind of fest. So think of Oktoberfest if you've ever heard of Oktoberfest, but in
Yes,
the
girl.
spring. Oh, but it's huge because it's like, it's like carnivals and food and beer and just having a good old time. And it's so, I mean, that's part of the culture here. It's like resting and relaxing and enjoying
Mhm,
life and being with family.
mhm.
And so I do appreciate that because, I mean, you just feel the difference. Like it's not hustle bustle here whatsoever.
Oh my God.
And
It's
I mean,
so
on
different but nice.
Yes. And even on Sundays, for example, like, I mean, I had to get used to this too, but like on Sundays, everything is closed. Nothing is open. No grocery stores,
Really?
no pharmacies, no clothing, nothing. The only thing
Oh,
that is
wow.
open is the only thing open I think is the grocery store at the airport.
Oh
That's
my
about
goodness.
but
So you have to
everything.
stock up on Saturday if you need something. Like if you forgot an ingredient, oh well.
Mhm, wait till Monday.
Wait, so oh my goodness. Okay, so did you ever have any moments when you were like, I need something and everything is closed? Because I feel like
Yes.
I forget.
Yes, it actually just happened to me. So here for Semana Santa,
Uh-huh.
they close, I'm trying to remember. They close Thursday, Friday, open for like a short amount of time on Saturday, and closed again on Sunday and Monday. So it's like,
They
so
don't
they
even give you a chance.
no, so because I was like, oh well, I know they close for Good Friday and Saturday. I'm like, I'm not about to be up in the mob on a Saturday trying to get groceries. I was like, I'll just wait till Monday. So then Monday came and I was like, oh, it's Easter Monday, and everything was closed.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So is there if okay, so I know you said that your family may be extending in Germany, stay a little bit longer. But if there is an option to go somewhere else, would it be back to the States or somewhere in another part of the world?
So I think for now it would be in the States just because it's through, my husband's job. It's like his agency. So that would kind of determine where we're headed next.
Mhm.
Right now it's looking like the States, but that could change. And if anyone knows about just military life, things change in the blink of an eye. They tell you one thing one day, and the next day they're like, well, actually, and then you got to deal with something completely different.
Yeah, yeah. So are you prepared to come back to the lack of work-life balance, the potential? Because here, you know how it is. It's like and we were just talking about this before we started when we got on here that I'm like, I have so many things going on. I was like, we were in for people that are hearing us, we were on a consultation call on Saturday morning and I was like exhausted. I felt like my brain was so fried. And I'm like, Mondays, no clients. I need to do other things. I can like rest a little bit. It is hard. And it's
Yeah.
our own expectations. Nobody's making me do anything, you know?
Right.
So, how are you feeling even about that?
Honestly, I am going to take what I've learned here and bring that back with me to the
Mhm,
States. I
mhm,
think before I came to Germany and got exposed to this lifestyle, I was there in that hustle bustle, 40 plus hours a week. Like,
mhm,
I feel like especially in Latino culture, like we have to prove ourselves through our work and like how hard we work and all that. And being over here just really opened my eyes to I gotta take care of me. And if I take
mhm,
care of me, I can take care of my family. Like, I mean,
mhm,
yeah, I'm gonna work hard and I still gotta do what I gotta do. But I think that's what's kept me from going back into the working world as far as working for someone else.
mhm. Oh,
And
and if you can do it on your own, do
right,
it.
exactly.
It's
So, but
it's
I will
it's
be taking that with me because I just like I cannot tell you like it even just feels different here. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it just you don't get that like we got to go, we got to go, we got to do, we got to get things done like
mhm,
you the contrary, you feel the complete opposite here. So,
mhm.
as another example to kind of show you within the business world here, a lot of businesses here take 2-hour lunches. Like they close the office for 2 hours.
Wow, you'll be lucky if you get 30 minutes.
Exactly. So it's like I've just learned a lot from being exposed to this culture as far as like they take care of themselves. They put themselves first. They put their families first. And this is funny, but they walk everywhere. Like everywhere.
I love that. I'm a walker. I love that. That's so cool.
They walk everywhere. Like you will see Germans every single day, whether it's in because there's so many trails here and so much, just open fields. You see them with their little hiking sticks and they're going. Like doesn't matter what day of the week, what time, like you will
Oh,
always see them out walking and just they call it taking in the air.
I love
Mhm.
that. That is so awesome. You know, like as you're sharing that, I'm remembering a time. So back when I was in college, I was in UC Santa Barbara, and I had the opportunity to study abroad in Greece. And it was a summer program. So I was there, conveniently in Greece in the summer. I mean, I was there to study. um, but it was just conveniently over the summer and great weather. Um, but over there, there's siestas from like, I think it's like 2 to 6 or something like that, or 2 to 7, maybe 3 to 7, algo así. There's
Mhm.
siestas throughout the day, and so everything closes, and the towns are just even like so. We were first in Athens, and then we went to another island, a Greek island called Paros, and from there we got to travel to other islands, but we were mainly in Athens and Paros, and even in Athens, that's like a city, siestas were honored.
Mhm.
And that was so cool to see. Like everything was just quiet, mellow, chill. Like the streets just felt fresh.
Yeah.
Everybody was indoors. Just imagine like the windows open and like the curtains like just kind of like rushing through. It's just such a peaceful experience,
Yeah.
and I feel like they're just happier, much more. And if you're happier, you're probably a lot more productive. Um,
Mhm.
really focused on things that you do. I wish we had that kind of mentality in the States because I think
Mhm.
there'd be less stress
Mhm.
and more people, like mental health in general, would probably be um, very low or just managed in a very different way.
Right. Right. Well, even just a work week. So one of our German neighbors told us that on average, Germans work 32 to 36 hours a week. And I mean, talk about like sick leave. They have tons and tons of sick leave. Like they're afforded so much sick leave, not like us in the States where it's like, oh, 5 days a week, a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, they actually also consider if like you want to stay at home with your children, that's considered a profession here. So the government pays you to stay home for the first year. And I was like, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
freaking awesome. Like the states need to like step it up, man.
For reals. For reals.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
Mhm.
So we're gonna start wrapping up for today. But with all of this, like work-life balance and all of this, the awesome things that you've been learning in Germany, what are some things that you do to take care of you? What are
So
your
I
go-tos?
So I definitely follow what the Germans say. I take the air. So I try to get out. I try to, do different trails, whether it's by myself or with my husband
Mhm.
or with our kiddo and his little balance bike. There's
Oh,
just so many different like areas to go to. So that's definitely an advantage of being here. I'm also part of the Peloton family, so hop on my Peloton whenever
there
I
you go.
can.
There you go. We need to do a ride together.
Yes, I'm all for it. And then I also just movement, just any kind of movement, whether it's yoga or just, like I said, going for a walk or sometimes even just taking a nap. Like I think the good thing is I just listen to what I need for that day. Like some days it might be, man, I need to do a 45-minute bike ride and like sweat and curse and just be all up in there. And
Mhm.
other days, it might just be I need to do 20 minutes of some yoga nidra and then catch up on my Netflix shows. So
There you go.
it really just depends. And then, of course, just keeping connections with my family and friends back home. That always
Mhm.
helps. And
Mhm.
let's see, what else do I do? That's essentially it. Like,
Mhm.
just try to keep moving and rest at the same time.
Mhm.
So, yep, just listening to what I need.
Yeah, no, I like what you're saying. Just listening to what your body needs that day, what you need that day. I think, like, as you're saying that, I'm thinking sometimes I put so much expectation on myself, like, even in the morning, like, I need to do certain amount of like workout in the morning. And like this morning, I just did not want to, but I did it. And I was just like, this is the worst. Why am I doing this to myself? And so today could have been a day where maybe I should have listened to my body and maybe like rested a little bit longer. So
Stayed
I
in
like what you're
PJs,
sharing.
gotten back in bed.
Seriously. Wait, okay. So before we go, who's your favorite Peloton instructor?
Oh, that's a good one. I have to say I'm between Robin and Cody, but
Ah,
I have been taking Alex a lot lately, so those would
Alex is a beast.
yes, those are my top 3.
Yeah, Alex is a beast. Tunde, like sometimes when I'm taking a ride with Tunde, I'm like, I hate you, Tunde. Whatever, because she'll be like counting, and I'm like, okay, we already like you are not counting. What kind of
Yeah,
counting is that?
that's hilarious. Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Where can people find you if they want to know a little bit more about you? If they're going to Germany, relocating, or just maybe even interested in working with you or learning from you.
Yeah, for sure. So thank you for having me. People can go to my website. It's www.drjguevara.com. Or you can find me on Facebook or Instagram. It's the same, Dr. J. Guevara. And, my practice, we specialize in trauma, especially amongst first generation college students and working professionals. So, always willing to help or, provide what I can. But yeah, reach out if you need to.
Perfect. And I will link all of her information somewhere in the box so that you will be able to contact her. So thank you
Awesome.
again so much for being here. It was such a fun conversation, learning about your experiences out there on the
Yes,
other side of the world.
yes. Thank you so much for having me. Loved it.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thank you for being here. If you have a chance, if you can please comment, subscribe, rate. We're on Apple Podcasts. We are on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, so you can listen to this conversation in any of those platforms. Also, you can watch us on YouTube. If you're curious to know, put a face to the voice. You can watch us on YouTube as well. Thank you again and have a great day. Bye.